1 through 10, what is your trust level? I'll answer mine here in a second. And Tank Sinatra said, I don't know what my expectations are at this point, Austin. Well, you can figure that out for yourself.
That is really the base of the question,
exactly.
right? Is what, and this is how I went through the exercise. I took my expectation at the beginning of the season saying playoff team, playoff loss. I reassess now. I still think they're probably a playoff team, possible playoff loss. So
right.
So
you're at a
my
6.5 trust out of 10 for them to meet those.
Well, yeah, because now I know that they're, well, I don't know. There's probably an 80 to 85% chance that they're going to make the playoffs, right?
Yeah.
That's my knowledge of the AFC South. Right. So that's the trust level.
All right, so let's see. Sean says 10 because his expectations were to win the AFC South, and so he thinks there's a 100% chance that he trusts the Titans win the AFC South. Steven says 9.5. His expectations were already in the dirt, and they surpassed them. So Stephen King in a much different situation there. Let's see. Jay says 9 because his expectations are low. Nick says 10, expecting him to win the South and lose the first playoff game, so he feels like that's what's going to happen. Caleb's the same exact way with his 10. I see O with a 3, Jacob with a 5, William with a 7. Darren says 10. Expectations to win the division, and then L in the playoff. Jameson says 0/1. His expectations are nowhere near attainable for this team. Zoe right there with Jameson. He says his expectations were a Super Bowl, so 0.
But that's fair, right? That's self-assessment of where you thought and where you are.
That's the whole point. Like, usually we have a right and a wrong answer based on everybody's opinion here. No, nobody's wrong in this. We're just kind of taking a, wind check, temperature check to see where everybody's at right now. Ed says Super Bowl champion or bust. So he's probably thinking bust right there. Guy says 6. They are who we think they are. Roger says 5, but his expectations weren't that high.
So go back to that last comment at 6. They are who we think they are. Guy, I agree. And I think the only reason why I'm at a 0.5 above you is because of the expectations of what could be of the 2 rookies that they drafted. Austin, we know that Traylon Burks and Kyle Phillips are better than Des Fitzpatrick and Racey McMath, right? We know that. So I'm kind of giving that benefit, but both have been injured. And I don't know how healthy they will actually be when they get back, too. So that kind of lowers them. If they were fully healthy and, getting experience, catching passes, getting separation, I think differently, but that hasn't been the case.
Yeah. Hey, thanks to our guy Philip for the super chat comment there on YouTube. Been getting a lot of those the last couple of days. He says, my expectations are the same. Effort Vrabel to improve the offensive scheme since 2020. Expectation for championship game, which is at a 1. So stubborn culture. So Philip says stubborn culture. I don't know if you can really say that they're a stubborn culture, because I think the culture is what's getting this team in the victory column. Don't you think?
Yeah, but their talent is preventing them from winning the games that they probably are going to need to win. That, like, Philip, I understand what Philip's comment is. 2020 was unique, right? That offensive scheme worked, but Arthur Smith's not walking through this door, right? You have worse offensive coaching in Todd Downing. Worse. Tim Kelly, you don't get to talk to him, so you don't know what the hell he's doing. And offensively, their roster is really, really bad. I mean, Austin, it's the worst offensive roster, let's say wide receiving and tight end core in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you have the best running back, which is like unique. You have the best of one thing, but you have the worst of the other. And Ryan Tannehill is probably somewhere in the middle, right? As far as quarterbacks go. He's not a top 10 quarterback, but he's also not a bottom 5 quarterback. That was proven over the last 2 weeks with Malik Willis, right? So but how the offensive passing aspect of this team is so bad that I think that's kind of what Philip is looking at, is like, they didn't change it. Like, they tried to fix their bad passing offense with 2 rookies.
Well, and Robert Woods was that, and Austin Hooper. So, I mean, like, I'm not
But let's
yeah.
go back to the separation board.
No,
Where is Robert Woods? Now, Austin Hooper at least has 2 yards of
I also feel like that's part of the pass game concepts being as vanilla as possible.
A little separation. Our pass game concepts, we yield more towards smaller separation versus DBs.
Look at what they did in overtime. I'm not even counting the
what?
blockings.
What did they do?
They called a screen for Jeff Swaim, which was just beyond stupid. But then they just ran down the field and stopped and turned around. Like there was no route. It was just like, hey, go run over there and then stop and look at me. There was no crossing routes. There was no attempt at misdirection or anything like that. So